Here in Colombo, views were expressed on the human rights situation in Sri Lanka at an event organized in view of International Human Rights Day by the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission.
Human rights are not based on any legislation. It's not a right given to you by statute. It is a birthright of every individual, and a person becomes entitled to human rights on the date he is born and sees the light of day. You might be the president of a country, you might be the beggar on the street. Each one human being is entitled to rights which are called human rights. We must necessarily celebrate International Human Rights Day to reaffirm our commitment and to protect and promote human rights. Indeed, it is an obligation on the part of every government to guarantee the rights of all citizens and even non-citizens.
So you protected our right and you give us the freedom from fear. But, again a small but, don't make it so that the people begin to fear you or fear the police. So what I think as a citizen I would ask is, please do your duty to protect people and don't go that other step and become that powerful that you don't mind so much what happens to people through your own work and what you do. If you have a criminal, he's a criminal, but criminals have to have a fair trial. But are we as a society now getting used to saying, don't go through all of that? That's a waste of time. If you catch a criminal, just shoot him dead. And that's a dreadful thing. I wouldn't want that happen to my child or myself even. I was quite fascinated by the fact that when I read these stories and then asked my barber, the chap came to cut my hair, and I asked him, what do you think of this? He said, "Honda vade sir, unta oka thamai denna ona." Why are we so determined that there must be an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth? If somebody attacks you, you kill him.
Our constitution does not list the right to life as a fundamental right. It was there in 1972, but in 1978 it only included the right to thought and conscience. It was left out of the 78 constitution. As per a verdict of the Supreme Court in 2003, it was determined that as per Article 13, Section 4 of our constitution, any harm caused to life or thought outside of legal action is to be considered a violation of a fundamental right. International Human Rights Day was declared on the 10th of December 1948 by the adoption of the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights. Sri Lanka ratified the convention in 1955 when it gained membership of the UN. The theme of this year's Human Rights Day is Working for Your Rights.